Hey everyone, Mike here, and I know. It's been a little while since I've come out with a video. I think it's been a couple of months, but and I apologize that I haven't come up with anything. But there's a couple of reasons why. One, I haven't done any mods or really anything to the car because I've been really busy doing this. Okay, and it's because of that is actually why I'm coming up with this video right now. Just do a little bear with me here. I'm just do a little story of what happened and what brought me to this point. Basically, the last autocross that I did during the morning runs, everything was going fine. For some reason, it was working perfect, and now that I see what the problem is, I'm wondering how that even happened. But the morning runs I was doing fine. We went to lunch, started doing the afternoon runs, and boom, my check engine light came up. I thought it was my thermostat causing the check engine light, but I went and I checked the code to see what the code was, and sure enough, it was something different. Basically said that I had a vacuum leak somewhere. So I finished out the day. The car was running. It seemed like it was running fine, but it sounded a little weird. So I knew there was definitely some kind of a problem. So I knew there was a vacuum problem. Finished the last, I think we did 3 runs in the afternoon. Drove 2 hours home, and it just, like I said, it just sounded kind of weird. So the next day I went and started searching for the vacuum leak. Alright, so I was basically looking online, seeing the best way to find a vacuum leak, and Facebook and Google and everything else, and got a bunch of suggestions. A lot of them were saying use brake fluid, lighter or starter fluid, and all this other kind of stuff. You spray it around the engine, and whenever the engine makes a noise, it'll basically say okay, or whenever the engine actually revs up, that vacuum is sucking in that fuel, causing the engine to rev, and there's your vacuum leak. So I'm thinking, okay. Then I read a safer way to do it was to use propane. So I went, bought one of these deals, got an actual hose here, so I can kind of root around the engine and try to find where it is. So I had this, the hose opened up, a little bit of the propane going out, and was hoping I was going to solve the problem. And of course, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything anywhere. Every hose that I put this near, nothing was happening with the engine. It wasn't stalling, it wasn't revving up, it just wasn't doing anything. But then I started hearing this weird rattling noise. So I went ahead and I let the engine cool down, waited till the next day, and I checked that bolt, and sure enough, not only one, not 2, but all 3 of the bolts on my catalytic converter were missing the washers and the nuts underneath. So basically the bolts were just kind of hanging on for the ride. They weren't really doing anything, and I'm assuming because there's that gap between the exhaust manifold and the top of the catalytic converter where the O2 sensor is, vacuum, some air was getting sucked into there, throwing off that O2 sensor, causing my check engine light to hit, and hopefully that's the problem. So what I did is I went out and I purchased some of these Nordlock washers. They have these little teeth on there, and from what everybody says online, these things, once they're on there, they're not going to come off unless you take them off. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to install in the engine, obviously on my catalytic converter. Yeah, I got new nuts on the bottom here, got new washers. The bolts are already in there, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten all 3 down with the new washers. And I'm also going to have to run underneath because there's 2 more bolts on the bottom of the catalytic converter under there too. So I'm going to obviously have to check this, make sure those things are working fine. So the bolts and the washers and the nuts that came with this high flow cat obviously didn't do their job. So I'm going to go ahead and replace them with these new washers, and hopefully, like I said, that's going to solve the problem with the vacuum leak, check engine light, get rid of that issue, and then I'll have to tackle the thermostat, which, like I said, I'm really not looking forward to, but it has to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and put the new washers and everything, get this top of this catalytic converter at least tightened up, and hopefully that's going to do the trick. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but here's one of the bolts right here that I'm going to put the washer on. There's another one right there, and then there's a third one that's right down there. So those are the three bolts that I have to tighten up, and then like I said, there's ones down on the bottom down there as well. And I might actually be able to reach down there and just kind of feel, make sure those nuts are still on there, and hopefully they are. Then maybe I won't even have to mess with those ones. At least not now. Maybe wait until spring or something like that when it's warmer. But obviously I'm going to check those out. And thank goodness General Motors has a little bracket that holds the catalytic converter on there as well. So hopefully it's doing its job. I guess I'll find out soon enough. Alright, so hopefully I can do this. Oh, there goes my light. Hopefully I can do this without dropping the washer and the nut on the ground. Take my watch off here. Last thing I need to do is scratch that up. So anyway, I'm going to try to get it started with my hand first, and then we'll bolt it all up for real after that. Sometimes I wish I had the hands of a 5-year-old. Alright, wait a second. Let me try this again. I dropped the bolt. Here, I thought I was going to drop the nut, and I dropped the bolt, so that's going to be a pain in the neck. Alright, I'll just take another one from the other for now. Put that in there. The washer. Now the hardest part is tightening this nut on there, get it straight. I know you can't see anything because I can't see anything either. There we go, I got it. Alright, that one's on there. And let me get this one here. One in the back. Hopefully that works out a little easier than the other one. Ooh, and it did. Alright. I know. Sorry I can't have a little camera down there to show you, but this is pretty basic stuff. Just putting a washer and a nut on a bolt. And once I get them on there by hand, that's when I'll actually tighten them down. So now, to find the one that fell down there. Alright. So there it is. Way under there. So here's what I bought. Actually, I kind of bought and built. And I know you can buy these things for real. But it's one of these little clampy things. Like you can... It has a little grippy... Like this is on the one end. And it has a little grippy thing, and I got one of those high-powered magnets that it's holding on to. So this is my official thing that I use to grab a hold of things that I drop. And there it is. That was actually pretty easy. When it goes down in an engine bay, sorry for making this video so wonky, but when things go down into an engine bay, unfortunately, this magnet loves to click onto everything metal that I push it down onto. So that's kind of annoying. So let me go ahead and get this last one back on there. Okay, so this one's probably going to be in the worst position, just basically because it's right behind the exhaust manifold there. Sorry I'm clearing my throat so much. So I'm going to try to get it from this side over here. Get that on there. Ooh, there it was. That was actually going to be the easiest one for now. Alright, so they're all on there nice and loose. And I just got to go ahead and tighten them up. And just to let you know as well, I didn't show you this. But I previously took off the heat shield for the exhaust manifold, so you didn't see that part. I didn't video that, but that's just a couple screws, takes it right off. So that's how you can easily see the catalytic converter from there. Alright, so it's officially time to tighten these down completely and be done with this. So here's some footage of how the engine sounded before I tightened on that catalytic converter. And now let's hear it after I tightened on those bolts. Well, that sounds a lot better. I'm not hearing any kind of weird noise, any kind of vacuum, any kind of tapping or anything like that was happening before. So I think that definitely was part of the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that code out with the check engine light and keep an eye on it. Well, will you look at that? The code actually got rid of itself, so I don't have to get it out of there anyway. So the check engine light is gone. I didn't have to do anything except tighten those bolts down. Thermostat still needs to be done, I know, and I got some other stuff I got to do. The fender, inner fender wells I'm going to do, because that one's all cracked from the one of the autocrosses that I did. And I got some other really cool stuff planned. So if you like this video, I know it wasn't a real exciting one, it wasn't a mod, it was just basically kind of taking care of a check engine light vacuum issue that I had. But hey, you might have the same kind of thing going on and have to diagnose it yourself. Or if you ever want to change the catalytic converter, at least you know where those top 3 bolts are. And definitely get those Nord locking washers. Obviously I'm going to keep an eye on this for a while and constantly check that, make sure none of those get loose. And hopefully that's good to go there. But I do have some other mods coming. Got some pretty exciting stuff I'm going to be coming up with soon. I can let the weather warm up a little bit. But please go ahead, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, tell your friends, tell your family, tell them to hit subscribe, and I hope you like this video. Until next time, I'll see you later.